Okie dokie, Jamie Shank here, and this will be the reading for the final chapter of the short story from my Monsters saga, a novel called Revenge. We will be doing Backwoods Monsters next. Revenge on Monsters may be concluding, but we will go ahead and do Backwoods Monsters next. Going to be a lot more characters I'm going to have to prepare for, but I think this one will be fun. And that'll be the main story from the Monster Saga. Much longer, much more detailed, much more plot twists. Actually, I don't consider Revenge a story that really focuses on any plot twist. It's very straightforward. I feel it is nothing but straightforward. The intricacies happen in Revenge kind of with what the character, like, what do they know? What really are their intentions? Like, except that's not a plot twist. That's kind of left up to the imagination of the interpreter. And it's just following all that. I mean, it's just a very straightforward story as it was intended to be. Whereas Backwoods is a novel. Like, no matter what else Backwoods is, the main thing it is meant to be a full-length novel, just like any other novel I would write. So, Backwoods is normal. Revenge, I took a lot of liberties on. Revenge it's a short story. It's 20,000 words. It's not an 80K novel. I had fun with that one. That's kind of mine. Or it's not. It's handled with different gloves. It was a fun one, though. I'm very happy to be doing this one as the first one. I feel comfortable. 3 characters. There's more ghost characters in this story than there are characters. I mean, being Connor's family that gets mentioned. We're mentioning his Tyler's, we'll get to Connor eventually soon. Whenever it comes to the crossovers anthology, Connor would be the one, a lot of characters though. It'd be Connor that I would probably most feel comfortable starting with. Something about that one just calls to me more than the other ones. Well, the length of it, it's the shortest of them. So the length of it is what calls to me. It would be easier than doing something like Yahei. Yahei would be absolutely insane to do. That's a long story. Connor's just as great, and it's 80K. Or 88, something like that. I think it's around 90 now, but something like that. It's closer to Backwoods length. But, alright, enough with me talking about them. I just give you an idea of what's to come on the channel. Probably said a little more than I should have, because Backwoods is going to take a long time to do. I mean, it's a 90K. It's near 100K words with everything that's involved in it. It's going to take a little longer than the 20K one. But, alright, I'll get back to the story, and we're going to start with of course, well, bullet notes and plot points. This one reads, self, family, community, city, nation, world. And really, in that order. Simply put, if self is not well, then self cannot look out for others, and in that case, others should probably look out for self. And if city and nation, and even world, are not up to par and functioning properly, well, self, family, and community may fall on hard times and undergo certain sufferings. ends. The struggle is as ceaseless and endless as the ebb and flow of time or the rise and recession of the tides, always swaying back and forth between the good times we yearn for and those harder, harsher times and conditions which we dread to face as the years roll past. And then there's all the in-betweens within such a balance. Will there be pleasant skies or a storm a-brewing? Until it happens, well, you really just don't know. Chapter 13. Despite the horrific act which Tyler knows has been committed down in the basement below, he eventually starts to feel a bit fatigued while out on his stroll. He finishes his lengthy walk and returns to the rickety old cabin to lie down on the couch and rest his eyes, and ends up falling back asleep for a bit. He assumed his mind would be racing too fast for sleep. Nevertheless, it came over him quickly and easily enough once he made it to the couch. Now the sun is rising off on the eastern horizon, and Tyler is waking up and starting the day again. It takes almost no time at all before he realizes that he will soon have to bear witness to the results of the horrific act which has transpired down in that basement the previous night. Only a few hours ago. Tyler reluctantly thinks to himself, "This is the last thing I must do, but I must do this before I leave here." Tyler sighs and rubs at his eyes. He isn't looking forward to witnessing the end results of this ordeal, but he's thankful that the end has finally come. He gets up and starts the day like any other, but he's carrying a weight of anticipation and trepidation on his shoulders as he nervously thinks to himself, "This is the last thing I must do, and I must do this." Tyler freshens up a bit, skipping his usual light breakfast. He doesn't feel hungry this morning. Not after last night. He thinks to himself, just the woman's screams alone will be enough to leave me feeling haunted for some time. Tyler again sighs aloud before continuing on by thinking, this was never supposed to be a pleasant ordeal. This has been a matter of establishing a just and moral basis for exterminating a real threat and danger to life. And I feel I've done that by putting these monsters through my test. I guess I know now that I should have just killed them from the start. No, I just refuse to get my hands dirty in all of this, really. I had to know for sure. I suppose I just couldn't bring myself to actually kill another living creature, especially another human being, even knowing that these two are the monsters who killed my son. I just don't have it in me. I just don't think I could ever bring myself to do it. It's just not in me. It's just not who I am. I'll bear witness to his atrocities to prove to myself that I've made the right decision, but I won't stoop to his level. I'm not the one committing the violent act. I just couldn't live with myself if I were. I don't want those monsters to go on killing. I don't want to allow them to just keep on doing the things that they're doing. But at the same time, I don't want the memories in my mind of having to kill them myself. I don't want that kind of an image in my head. I don't want to have to deal with that. Then again, what am I about to witness? Oh gosh. Am I really, truly prepared for what I'm about to see? How bad is this going to be? I know he's been eating her. Oh God, this is going to be very shocking and very disturbing, say the least. I know. I guess, in truth, there is no preparing oneself for what's surely to be a great deal of bloodshed and brutality. I just have to brace myself and get the hell out of there if it's too much for me to handle. Will it be too much for me to bear? Only one way to find out. Oh gosh. Tyler approaches the basement's door from the top side, unlocking it, opening it up, and peering down into the depths, but only seeing the bottom of the staircase and a sliver of the concrete floor thus far. The smell of human excrement hits Tyler's nostrils. He actually has to turn away to get a good deep breath of fresh air. He attempts to mentally prepare himself further, building himself up to go down there, thinking to himself, this is the last thing that I must do, and I can do this. After this, I'm done. After this, it's time to go home and be with my family. Tyler's thoughts provide him with the courage and motivation to carry on, despite the revolting smell rising up from down below. Yes, despite that smell, Tyler starts down the staircase. He reaches the bottom of the stairs, braces himself, and peers over to his left, now looking in the direction of the misguided couple. What Tyler sees sends him reeling backwards a step or two, and he almost trips and falls over his own 2 feet, but finds his footing before going down. Byron says nothing, but his eyes are darting left and right and up and down, and he has quite the guilty look on his face. Byron's front side, from his mouth on downward, is covered in dry and caked up blood. The front side of his shirt is just soaked and matted in it. Maylin sits slack in her restraints, either dead or just barely clinging to life. There's a chunk of flesh missing from her right thigh where Byron has been feeding. Tyler's breathing is heavy, and he suddenly feels terrified of Byron. Tyler knows that Byron is held tightly in place by the restraints and that he has only a small area of wiggle room in which to move around. But after witnessing what Byron has done to his wife, well, Tyler suddenly just can't help but feel terrified of this man. With a shocked look on his face, Tyler stands there as if frozen, unable to help but stare at the puddles of blood and urine mixing together on the floor surrounding Maylin's apparent corpse. And Byron. Tyler thinks to himself, what an impossibly unfortunate couple. Oh God, I bet she knew he would do that to her because she would have done the same to him. Once they figure out what the test actually was, once they figured that out, I bet that's when she started to really panic. Once she realized what was going on, she knew exactly what that guy was doing. Her husband, Byron, would do. She knew exactly what was going to happen. Too bad I could only test one of them. Despite the foul smell, despite the sick feeling at the carnage portrayed here before him, Tyler takes in a deep breath of the putrid basement air in an attempt to calm himself down. He then turns away, hunches down, and leans over a bit, looking as if he might be sick. Byron finally looks up at Tyler in that moment and decides to speak, sounding weak and feeble, but nevertheless catching Tyler a bit off guard when he says, "Oh, look what you made me do, mister. She's dead. Would you please let me go now?" Why did you have to kill her and eat her leg? Why not a foot or something? Maybe she'd still be alive. Tyler, his distressing consternation now showing, as he is beginning to uncontrollably shake and sweat due to the horrific scene, and his revulsion and disgust and fear of this hideous man vociferously asks Byron, "What were you thinking? How could you even do something like this?" "I was hungry, mister. You didn't feed us," Byron insistently replies. There is no remorse in Byron's eyes, nor sympathy in Tyler's shocked facial expressions. Byron's pleas suddenly become a bit more urgent as he persistently cries out, "Please, mister. I was just hungry. I didn't mean to. I was just hungry. You've gotta let me go. You just gotta." Tyler feels something snap within him. He feels on the verge of losing it in that moment. He's just so repulsed and angry. Then he thinks to himself, it's time for me to go. I just need to leave this place. I played my part in all of this. Byron has proven me right and failed my test in less than half the time I expected it might take. I've seen all I've needed to see and then some. Let him rot down here. Let them both rot down here. It's time for me to go. Tyler silently stares at Byron. He shakes his head at the pathetic, blood-encrusted man. Tyler then takes one more look around, taking in the scene, taking it all in, the carnage, the results of what this man, Byron, has done, the results of the test Tyler himself put this man through. The inept man has failed Tyler's test, and miserably at that, just as Tyler had predicted. And it took not even half as long as Tyler thought it might take. Yes, taking it all in, despite the shock and horror of it all, despite his own disgust with the scene, with the man, and in a way, with himself. Tyler thinks to himself, these are the people who killed my child, my boy, my son Ellis. This is what they're capable of. Remember the fear. Remember this feeling of revolt and disgust. Remember the anger, the rage. Remember the anguish, the hurt and the pain. Remember it all. Yes, I must remember this, and I must find a way to work toward a resolve to it all. Turning around, Tyler starts for the stairs. Byron urgently calls out to him, "Wait, mister, wait! Where are you going? Can you give me some water? Please, mister, please! I need water!" Tyler pauses to scoff at Byron's last remark, then starts to make his way up the stairs again. And again, Byron calls out to Tyler, even more urgently this time. "Wait, mister! Please! Please! Don't go! What am I going to do for water?" Tyler exits that hell room for the final time, before shutting the basement door behind him and locking it up for good. In response, Tyler finally says to the Bane man, "You should have thought of that before you ate your wife." "I need water, mister! Mister, wait! Wait, no, I need water!" The man continues to shout pleas for water and mercy, but they fall on deaf ears. Tyler is thinking about his son, Ellis, and the rest of his family at this point, and getting lost in fond, warm memories of the better times. He is content. This whole trifling ordeal is finally over and done with. Tyler now is going home, and he feels he can live with what's happened here. He'll have to. He didn't necessarily get the answers he wanted, but he figures he got the answers he needed and witnessed enough to feel secure in his methods and ways. So as Tyler exits the derelict, run-down little home and makes his way off the property, he thinks to himself, the days ahead will by no means be easy ones, and the road ahead is sure to be a long and bumpy one. But I think this is a step in the right direction for my own peace of mind, for my family, for my son who is forever lost to us because of these monsters and their evil ways. I believe some good has and still will come from all of this. At least these monsters will never hurt anyone else ever again. Yes, this is a step in the right direction, and I'm content with it. Revenge. And the final epigraph, which reads, perhaps the Beatles said it best. All you need is love. Thank you for sampling this story, and well, we'll come back with the other half to the Monster Saga soon. Well, hope you enjoyed. Thank you as always, and all right.